We have a chance. Yeah, we're still in it. I mean, it's a big tournament. It's like 32 players, bigger than most of the like kind of like community invitationals we've
Hope
seen.
you're having a good stream. 2 years ago was Artifact Bonanza LoL.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So we should be starting round 3 now. How did Mindsplitter stun through Bastion? Is that a glitch or by design? Mindsplitter is not a skill or a spell. It's an effect, whatever the hell that means. So Mindsplitter goes through Bastion. Start ASAP if possible. Let me start. So in the losers round, we're against Bratched Kata. So we added him. Obviously, sideboard is over, so we're going back to the main deck. If it's, next time we're against Lee in this tournament, if that happens again, then I'll change the side by like 2 cards. Can you explain Setcher? The discard feels detrimental most of the time. Basically, the pool with it is really good. I think that in a lot of matchups, there's actually a few cards that just like aren't as useful. To be honest, Sketcher is worse in like sideboarding because you usually can take out at least a couple of cards that aren't productive per matchup. I do like it on ladder. I think that there's almost always like 1 card per matchup that's just like not doing a ton. And the pool that it gives you is really good. And it's also nice against like, I don't know. I mean, it has board presence. The ability to be a chump blocker actually matters a lot. For the most part, I mean, I've definitely like oversided on Spacey Sketchers and Star Charts for sure. Targon, of course, great for the sideboard format as we discussed. Filler Targon, Targon Trundle, we haven't seen this in a while. This is going to be interesting to play out. Again, Mindsplitter is a pretty good card. He's main decking Mindsplitter. Mindsplitter is actually potentially just like a really good card in this format in general. The biggest thing is because like it not even just to sideboard in, but because the format inherently incentivizes like a lot of slower grindy stuff, Mindsplitter does hit a lot of things right now. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty scary. Again, we have a lot of counters for Mindsplitter, and that's like part like the thing is like that's part of what Sketchy does, right? When you find an Equinox, the Mindsplitter, you're literally trading like 7 mana up. And yeah, it's true they get an 8/8, but usually that has much less of an impact than 7 mana. Like that exchange will often win you the game, and that's why I'm less concerned about it, and that's why I'm running Sketcher basically. There's other reasons I think the card is just kind of underrated, but how long is this? 20? It's gonna go on really long unless you're watching it on this channel, in which case it's gonna go on for probably another hour or 2 at most. All right, so again, we can pull up his deck here. We're back to the main version. Things to play around. I mean, it does pretty well against like Lee Sin. We've got Flash Freeze. This deck has been like, it was kind of a staple for, not a staple, it was never a staple, but it was kind of like a cute anti-Lee thing. So he's already main decked anti-Lee. This is potentially gonna be pretty awkward. I think for the most part, we do just want some proactive plays. Zoe is a really big deal here because he doesn't have great answers to Zoe. I think I have to full Mole. He doesn't really have aggression, so we don't need I mean, if we're attacking on 2, I do like Goat, I think. He's got like Shield Bearer and Avaros and Sentry. Yeah, he actually has a lot of Goat counters. I think I actually have to full Mole here. I don't like playing for the board early. He's got so many board counters, like Avaros and Sentry, Shield Bearer, Avalanche, and even like stuff like Troll Chant does really well on those turns, that I think like if I'm not playing for Zoe and Lee and spells, I'm probably losing anyway. Okay, so we have 2 Sparkle Flies here. I think it's not worth the mana at this point, actually. Freeze can fuck us. Yeah, Freeze is pretty good here. He only has 2 Flash Freezes and no other sources of freeze. And, sometimes pre-bastioning can be fine there. Sometimes freezing also only just, like, buys an extra turn, right? So, I don't think there's too much we're going to do. I think that... I mean, Star Trek doesn't do a ton here. I don't mind just, like, chipping in a little bit of damage. Banking the mana... just because of our hands. I'm going to make the call to not bank the mana, I think. Like, the bit of damage has a hard time mattering. In some hands, in most hands, the mana will matter more often, but here I feel like it's just a little tricky for the mana to matter in the way it needs to. I'm never going to give him the draw from this, though, and that's part of the reason why, yeah, like, I knew I wanted to play Sparklefly by here, because I do want to be able to offset the free Avaros and Sentry hits every turn. So it would be kind of nice to enable Deep Med here. I do really like Star Chart and then see what we get, maybe. And if we don't get anything that can trigger Deep Med for next turn, then I can go into Guiding Touch. This one's quite interesting. Wow. Moonglowing Lee against this deck is actually really good, and we have a heavy Lee hand. We can level Lee kind of like Turbo with Moonsilver. I think Moonsilver is actually scarier here. Like with the double Lee and the deep meds, I think Moonsilver might have to be the pick. God, that's so close. This is the one matchup where Moonglow might beat Moonsilver. I think Moonglow. To be honest, the one thing I'm not really sure about Lee decks is like calculating the kinds of situations where Moon Silver is like your valuable card is actually really complex to do. There's a shit ton that goes into that. But I think in this hand, I really do want Deep Med enabled for next turn. So I will just Guiding Touch here as well. And he burns up, which is great. Burns mana. So, I mean, we've got like Eye into Deep Med. I think that's fine. Like, we're not triggering Eye, but it's still just kind of efficient. So, gets the Catalyst. Yeah, we just want to make sure we're spamming spells as much as possible. Eye is still costing us 1 mana. I think the 1 mana point might actually matter more than the Eye. I think it's just not ready to play Eye yet. We'll just Deep Med and bank the 1 mana. Make sure that we're banking more mana into the Lee Sin turns. So the tricky thing with Moon Silver in Lee Sin decks is you need to like plan out mana points and probabilities for like 3 turns in advance. If Moon Silver lets you level Lee a turn early, then it's a good pick, and if it doesn't, then it's bad. And that's really complicated to calculate, I think. That's my take on it. So he doesn't really have amazing counters to us playing Lee Sin here. He'll be keeping like Mind Split in this matchup. Zoe's actually better than Lee Sin in this matchup, by the way. I didn't mention that. I mean, I do just have to play Lee Sin now. He can't really like do anything scary to it with his mana, but it's, I guess, non-ideal. And again, it's kind of awkward. We have a lot of answers to Mind Splitter, but we have none in our hand right now. And of course, we didn't get offered the Equinox off of the one grab we had. Like, we're running straight up 7 grabs for Equinox, and we only really need 1 Equinox against Mind Splitter, so it's a really big deal. We still have a lot more draw here, so we can still get somewhere. I guess I just like, if I keep 1 unit on the board, his Mind Splitter sometimes at least gets a little bit less value if we can't counter it. I guess I can Zenith here. Yeah, this is pretty bad though. Like, he doesn't even have to play a unit. He's got his main deck smashes Lee. I don't think it does super well into invokes. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe his main deck is actually okay into invokes. But it's like he built his main to do a few things, one of which is smash Lee Sin, like even before he has the sideboard. So this could be really bad for us. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to not. Like the fact that we can't like protect Lee with Moonglow from Mind Splitter is just kind of insane. Like that's the like the one thing that it can't, like, that spell shield doesn't work on it. Like, what do you do about that? Like, how do you actually counter Mind Splitter?
Patience is underrated.
Like, it's nuts. There's no, it doesn't go on the stack. Equinox is like the only way, right? Yeah, Mind Splitter's sick here. Anyone bringing a Mind Splitter in this tournament made a really good call. Deny? It doesn't go on the stack, right? Like, Will and Equinox are the only way. And I'm not main decking Will, because I didn't expect people to main deck Mind Splitter. I expected Mind Splitter to come in later. Like, I'm siding in more counters to Mind Splitter, but anyone main decking Mind Splitter is going to have a really good chance in, like, before side decking, right? Like, that's just super nasty. You just need 1 Equinox and you win this matchup? I know, but where is it? I mean, I'll just Moonglow and attack with Lee here, I guess. I do actually really want to kill the Shield Bearer. I guess Pale Cascade here is fine. Holy shit. I literally just clicked before I saw the Zoe. I don't know. So, something that happens sometimes is I just feel so bad that I left, like, the last rounds for so long. So I'm just, like, rushing and just clicking things. Like, obviously this is just a throw. But, I don't know. I just get really self-conscious that I'm holding up the tournament, and I don't know. I don't really know what to do about that. Yes. I have what One additional hit. Paling this turn might actually be better. The hit matters more than anything else. Hush works. It doesn't work against Mind Splitter because it's start of turn. Like, you can hush your stunned unit to get a blocker, but it doesn't help anything else. If I play enough spells, there's a chance he can't answer the Zoe, and something could happen with Sparklefly. If I develop into this, it's not necessarily worse for me. There's not really a lot of development punishers happening right now. Yeah, I guess Mentor here is just fine. He can feel the rush here if he wants. Tapping under is kind of awkward for him. Should have open attacked. To play around what? I don't think there's really enough to play around by opening attack there. Great Beyond is an elusive blocker. That's true. There's a chance I might have to feel like it's a hush thing anyway. I can also like drag it with Sonic Wave because the second Lee Sin is locked out of doing anything anyway, right? Yeah, there's a chance to like try to keep Pale up as something that could inevitably like take down the Mind Splitter with enough damage. It's really difficult to do that against like freezes though. I think like Pale to Cycle is just better. Yeah, this play looks fine. I can Sparklefly to try to like stay alive a little bit more as well. So like he can Avalanche this, but this Avalanche isn't really a big deal. So I don't really care if he like plays 4 mana for Avalanche here. Develop was way better. Yeah, Develop had to be better here. Because we do have like a bit of a win condition, which is this idea of actually like going for something with elusive, really. It is actually possible to win in a weird way off of a Zoe level up. If you hush Mind Splitter, can you use Lee next turn? No, hushing Mind Splitter doesn't work. It's start of turn. The hush does nothing against Mind Splitter, basically. Okay, so he's like trying to hushing Zoe through the Flash Freeze hush. Yeah, that's pretty good. And of course, those are both bursts, so we can't like re-bastion that. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Don't know if it's winnable. Like, nothing to do here. Yep, this is good. Hush Lee and sacrifice it when he attacks. I mean, that's the best play, but it's still, I mean, has a really hard time winning the game. Like, that's the one thing you can do against Mind Splitter, and like, you have to. But it's super awkward. And it like doesn't usually win the spot, like the game from this position. The fact that we forced his hush and his flash freeze is kind of crazy. Because like now suddenly he is a bit more vulnerable to that line, actually. Like, if he's smart, he probably can't attack here for that reason. Like, that just feels throwy. I've only used one Zenith, right? I mean, in theory, I can try to use another Zenith. I actually don't need the mana this turn. ASL levels here. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this is a lost game, I think. Like, his main deck is so rough for this. If you don't have a way to Equinox, you can fork Mind Splitter by not playing Lee early sometimes. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you can also lose the hands that don't have Mind Splitter by doing that, though. Like, it's really hard to OTK with Lee against decks that have stuff like 3 Hush and 2 Flash Freeze. I don't think playing Lee late is actually enough to really win you the game here. Like, this is a really good deck against Lee Sin decks. And he doesn't attack there because he knows his lose condition is letting the lead do something. So, I mean, I can play this out, but it's really pointless to play out. Like, there's no way to win this game anymore. So I'm out if he loses here? No, because this is a BO3, but if I lose the BO3, I'm out. You're greedy by not putting Will in your deck? I mean, Will's in my sideboard. I mean, Will and Lee Sin makes sense in a very specific field. There's a reason people don't run Will and Lee Sin, though. Like, Will is a card in my sideboard, and I put it in my deck after the first game. Sure. I mean, you're right. If I'm in this game, I should Bastion Butterfly. But, like, I don't think there's really a way for... I can do a few things a little differently in this game, but I don't think there's really a way for this deck to feel favored against that in the main deck. Like, you can make a weird field call and main deck will, but I mean, there's a reason nobody does that. Like, it's not a really good idea to do that unless you have a very specific field prediction. Yeah, I mean, I'll just concede here. There's just no point. You're never winning this game versus Mind Splitter. Some of you guys are saying there's a call to like keep... I could see an argument to keep Sketcher in the opening hands. I could see an argument to not play Lee before Mind Splitter turn. Those are two things I can see an argument for. It's not weird if you're facing Mind Splitter. Well, yeah, but you can't main deck Will expecting the tournament to be Mind Splitters, right? That's the thing. Like, you put your cards in your deck and then you draw them. It'd be nice if it didn't work in that order. I mean, honestly, sometimes I can do enough damage to kill Mind Splitter with like Sunburst plus. I actually have like a lot of like challenge snakes that do it. Like, my side deck is fine against that deck, but he like the reason I have these in my sides instead of my mains is because I expect a lot of Mind Splitters, but not in main deck phase, right? That's the thing. What is Nopify hitting? So this is where we sideboard. We can go ahead and switch it up a little bit. We can go ahead and check out his sideboard. So he's already like really teched for this matchup, but he'll probably put in like the Hush and the Troll Chant as a Bastion popper basically. And Harsh Winds and Sunburster for this matchup as well. So he'll have those additional tools. Decks are so countered in LoR. Yeah, this is like... There's a reason his deck has never been meta in the past. It's a good deck at doing like one extremely specific thing. It saw fringe play for like a week during the Lee Sin meta in tournaments. It's not terrible. It's not like a bad deck per se, but that deck has one reason to exist. Okay, that's his sideboard. Let me go ahead and pull up what exactly I want to do here. This guy came ready for Lee. Yeah, I mean, it's not like his deck necessarily does poorly against invokes or other things, but like he's smashing Lee players he runs into. Yeah, Sunburst doesn't really do a lot. It's really awkward, but I'm not sure, like there's nothing to even swap in instead unless I want to put Eye. It's going to be really hard winning twice into this deck. Like, he's hard teched against us and we have to win twice in a row to stay in the tournament. So there's a very good chance we're going out here. A very, very good chance. Then I can help with that because they can't really like feel the rush. But especially like once the like freezes are sided in, he'll never die on one turn to the Lee. That's the thing. This feels shitty. Yeah, this is like one of the worst matchups in the game. The way we win this is by having Zoe in our opening hands. Like that's the biggest way we win, and that's part of why I like wanted to hard mull. Because like Equinox does a lot against Mind Splitter, but in this matchup, Mind Splitter is not the only thing he has. He has a lot, in addition to 3 main decked Mind Splitters. I mean, we have Lee and Star Charts, so we actually have like a decent chance at surviving the Mind Splitter. This is... I'm not sure, honestly, I mean, this isn't a matchup that I prepped because this isn't a common matchup at all, but this is the kind of hand where the Lee win condition actually can happen. Still not like a great opener. Like, we want a few more ways of being able to use spells here. Yeah, I mean, we can start Star Charting. We know we're going to want Equinox from them. If I get something that's good to like Mentor buff, that can change my play here a little bit. I might want to enable Deep Med for next turn. So I have to take Equinox here. I'm supposed to rope a little bit first. If it's a snap, it's more obvious that it's an Equinox. I mean, he has a hard time playing around it either way. Yeah, I mean, I can just do a burst pass. We do want to play a second spell this round for the Deep Med, so I think Star Chart is kind of more important than doing something with Goat here. And if the Star Chart whiffs, then I think I'm happy playing the Goat afterwards and lowering my mana point. I think that's fine. Does he play Avalanche? He does, which is a little awkward. I think he might actually be cutting it down in this matchup, though. I guess we're probably just going for Messenger. I mean, the Elusive is actually really nice sometimes. Like, really nice sometimes. We actually already have a lot of draw of Deep Med. Wow, I think Trickster might actually have to be better. I mean, he does have access to Elusive blockers. If we're not winning with Lee, I think we're not winning at all. If the game was slightly different, like if we had a bit more pressure like Zoe or something, then I can definitely go for the elusive. But in this hands, like we have a pretty clear win condition, I think. So I can play Goat, force out an Avalanche. The thing is he kind of wants us to kill his own sentries. I think we're not great into Avalanche hands already. Like we're not overdrawing, we're getting our gems. So if you have Avalanche here, that's pretty bad, but I don't think we have another play. Like we have to try for it, I think. Yeah, you guys have to remember there's a good chance he's literally taking Avalanche out in this matchup. That's how sideboarding is. We don't even know it's in his deck anymore. The fact that we're burning but we're never burning because it's Avalanche that doesn't let the goat draw. And if the goat survives, then we just gem the goat anyway. So we're never burning our top deck here. Pass was interesting. So I do like pass in terms of like just kind of trying to avoid letting the sentries draw ever. If I play Lee here, I'm probably getting sunbursted right away. I don't know if we can even protect it. I actually could even have a pass here. It's not even that bad. If I pass here and like bluff deny, that could be best for me. But getting closer to Mind Split is really bad. This is such a rough matchup. I think I have to Spacey Sketcher. Or maybe open with a weird Zenith Blade. No, I think I need to Spacey Sketcher. Discarding in this hand is actually a little weird though. Or alternatively Zenith Blade. Zenith Blade on Goat is actually really obnoxious for him. I can discard something else after I Zenith Blade. Let's Zenith on Goat, actually. I want to Spacey after this. I think I need my Lee to be trying to level next turn. It's maybe a couple spells behind. Not Doggy. Doggy is a good play. The only problem is like, I guess I'm concerned with my hand size actually. And I do want to try to diversify my win cons a little bit. I think I don't need this last gem now. I honestly might be about to discard Dog with Spacey. I think Dog's like the worst card in this hand right now. Like, the gems are really important for how we're winning this game, and we have a wide hand with Deep Med. Like, I don't think we need Dog right now the way this is going. One Silver allows my lead to level next turn, I'm pretty sure. Although it won't have... It won't have access to the Zenith. So we have Lee plus 2 mana. Yeah, so we can... Because we did that discard, we can level our Lee next turn, but we don't have the Zenith. And the biggest issue is Sunburst is still a problem. I don't know if I can play around Sunburst, honestly. If he Sunbursts my Lee in this hand, we probably don't have a win condition. I don't know. Goat, the damage on Goat plus like some draws could change it around. We have a chance of protecting Lee for 1 attack. Like maybe sometimes Lee only needs 1 attack. I don't know. I think this is it's a matchup where it's really hard to play around everything. The fact that we Zenith the Goat though means like it's really important because if we don't have to kill him from 20, we can actually win with like a single Lee attack. So yeah, I think Zenithing that Goat last turn was a necessary play. Like we just need to be Goat gamers right now. That's just what we're doing. We do want to trigger a second spell this turn. Like that's fairly important. Or we could just tap under for Deep Med entirely. I think I just want to like gem the Goat for it to be really obnoxious. I almost want to use the other Zenith on the Goat. I think that might have to be bad. There's a really... I mean, without trying the third Zenith, our lead just does a little too little. I think I actually might use just the other Zenith on the Goat. I don't know if Lee can be good here. Like he has 4 freezes in his versions. If I can, like, if this is actually something that can force out a freeze, like, that's such a big deal. And this Goat can't really attack this turn. We have an 8-card hand. I can solo attack with this. Probably... Like, I'm happy using a second Zenith on the Goat as long as it's Daybreaking. I can't do it without Daybreak, though. This matchup feels so bad, dude. Like, everything just obliterates our win condition. And he's got a shit ton of healing, too. So, we do have the 10-card hand. We are going to need to just, like, pop one of our gems here. That's fine. Wow, he just YOLOs it. He's just in for the Field of Rush. Holy shit. If I have Deny, I literally win the game on the spot. What? What hand? No hand would ever do that. It would have to be like the craziest hand ever. I have to Moonsilver before I demed because I'm overdrawing. Like, I mean, if I hit Deny, I should just win. Sunburst hands do that. So I had to spend mana so I couldn't play Lee this turn. If I had like a bit more mana, like if I didn't have to do exactly that mana point for that play, we could have also played Lee this turn and that would have won the game on the spot. But because Lee hasn't been played yet, it's harder to do. I can Bastion when he Sunbursts and that annoys him, but it might not be enough. I think I just have to gem. Oh, I could Guiding Touch Face. It's less mana efficient. I think like having a maximum mana is really important. Because like now I need to Lee here. And when he Sunbursts, I can Bastion. And if that happens, then he doesn't have Harshwind's mana, so my goat might start carrying away the game. The question is there a weird line where he doesn't Sunburst right away to try to bait us into Zenithing the Lee first? We never take that Zenith then, I think. If that's what he's doing. He must have a really bizarre hands. He has to have Sunburst, I think. That's the only way he can play Field Rush there. But also, like, no Mind Splitters. So, I mean, I can Bastion now. The literal worst case scenario is this forces out a Hush or a Freeze. Something that is extremely premium for him. So, like, this is a great Bastion anyway. So he can kill Lee, but he'll have to give up a Hush or a Freeze. And this goat is going to go to town on him. If he has a double Hush hand, then he can do both this turn. Oh. Was it actually double Hush? Jesus. I mean, the goat's gonna smack him for a lot if it's not a double Hush here. He might just have another Field of Rush. Second Field of Rush is really bad. I like Zoe. He's going to... Yeah, killing a Wording Stones doesn't matter anymore. There's an interesting threat to like force him to trade off of Wording Stones. But because he's going to the same mana point anyway, it's too late for it to matter. I can do like one gem. And gemming Zoe feels like the play here. It sometimes plays into like an avalanche next turn, but the goat we assume isn't gonna do enough anyway. So yeah, just gemming the Zoe for a bit more damage is good. So I'm expecting a second Field of Rush here. However, with this hands, we should be fine to a second Field of Rush, right? Like that doesn't even do anything. He needs like some harsh winds. That Bastion draw is amazing. We might just be fine here. Like, we have him behind on tempo. He only has one play now. And it's either like Field of Rush or like Mind Splitter. We have pretty good answers to both. I really need to pee, which is awkward. Because I can't go right now, so I might just wet my pants. Oh, God. I haven't fucking wet my pants since I was like 16. Oh no. Not like this. Pee bottle. I mean, these are multi-use, right? Oh, God, he's roping me. I'm burning. Oh, I'm sorry, pink bottle. Nah, I'm just, guys, I wouldn't actually do that. Come on. I need to use something else. I'm gonna go. I can't keep it anymore. I can't do it. Yeah, there's the Field of Rush. So, I mean, I don't think there's a point in cycling for a Deny, right? It's just Trundle and Asol, and it doesn't even do anything, right? Like, I don't even need to block both. The thing is, does he even have any open attack punish? Or he doesn't even really have development punishers in that deck, right? Why not develop into next turn? Am I missing something? It's so weird. Icequake, but Icequake is his entire mana pool. I think I guess I just go for both of these and just open attack. Second Sunburst. Yeah, Sunburst plus like freeze. That's the big punish. Not attacking here is interesting. I mean, he might just be happy with this exchange. Play around's harsh. Ah, I mean, there's star shaping hands too. Is the play just killing the Trundle so that I can get another gem for the Zoe? Like I just bashed in the Zoe and just go all in? Because the star shaping hands are really awkward. Like I actually need to be able to beat star shaping by having enough damage. And the goat, I think, can't actually do anything, right? Lee is so interesting. If I play Lee... Oh, I probably can't play Lee. If I play Lee and he harsh wins, I can still do a lot. If he harsh wins after I play Lee, between the Bastion and the 2 gems, I should win. He doesn't have star shaping if he harsh wins. Guiding touch. I do think Bastion has to be right here. Because, like, if I open, there's so much of a chance that he has the double Bastion pop and then I just lose. I have to play Lee here. Like, we're not afraid of his development. Icequake is not really even that big of a deal. Because it's his entire mana pool and it just leaves him open for Hush. That's the only development punish he even has. Like, what we're afraid of is the fast responses. This is why I took Moonsilver, by the way. Because there's a lot of hands where we needed this 1 extra mana. I know Crescent looked kind of good there, but his offense doesn't matter. Crescent on our offense doesn't matter at all. Whereas Moonsilver, there's some hands where this 1 mana makes the difference. Like right now, if I want a Bastion double gem, this Moonsilver is allowing that. This game is really intense, man. Holy shit. Honestly, for me, this game peaked in intensity about 2 or 3 minutes ago. So now I take the attack. We should pre-Bastion Lee. Lee is the one he doesn't want to Hush, though. He wants to Hush in Zoe. Because, like, the Lee's attack is going either way. And he doesn't have Overwhelm. So Bastion is better on Zoe, and I should gem the Lee. We need to beat Star Shaping plus Flash Freeze. If he freezes the Lee... it still gets kicked to 0. We need Zoe to go to 8 beats. I think... oh, the math on this is actually so weird. This is actually super bizarre. This is super, super bizarre. Keep mana for Hush? Hush on the Lee for the freeze. Interesting. Double freeze. Yeah, keeping Hush mana up was good there. I needed to keep Hush mana up for the double Flash Freeze hands. He has another turn now. Also, kicking the Messenger instead of Warding Stones was just kind of silly. Because if he did survive it, then he gets an extra draw now. Yeah, the only reason that gems feel good is just because of Star Shaping. Like, if I don't pre-commit gems... but Hush will always find value there. Because if he doesn't freeze both Lee and Zoe, he can't win. 9 mana Comet for him? Yeah, if he YOLOs the 9 mana Comet, he's good here. Yeah, that was a misplay. I did need to keep Hush mana up. That makes the difference in exactly that hand state. So he has the ability to attack Zoe now. I could Hush my own Zoe, is not that bad. Is there anything I can get that actually matters? If I get Spell Thief, that might change my play here a bit. Sleepy Bubble Trouble. Unfortunately, I mean, I can stun the Asol with like Hush Bubble Trouble. It's actually kind of funny. He'll probably be able to kill my Zoe with something else, though. I think hushing Zoe might be the best play here. The only problem is then she's dying to a lot. She's dying to like avalanche and stuff. Is it just the avalanche? Yeah, I might have to hush Zoe here. I don't think there's a better play. I think I can use the other guiding touch first, though. Yeah, hushing Zoe looks good. Keep hush for harsh ones. So the thing is, he's used a lot of freezes. I think he has a hard time having the single harsh in his hand. At this point in time. He hasn't used a single avalanche, but he didn't have one on turn 4. It's hard for him to draw one here. Okay, avalanche. So we've got another Zoe. He needs to heal back up here. Okay, we'll let it through. Is there any way to protect it with his guiding touch here? That's not impossible, right? Why hush Zoe? She's dying for free otherwise because of the vulnerable. Basically, it's just about whether we're playing around star shaping or more freezes. That's pretty much it. Mentor's a sick draw. It's pretty good. I don't know. The big misplay was just last turn not saving hush, because we can beat non-star shaping hands by doing that. That was a misplay. Like, that might have been what lost me the game. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad now. We can try though. He can't sunburst our Lee, which is nice. He has to know this card in our hand is Equinox if he's paying attention, by the way. He knows this is the card we got off of like Star Trek super early on. And the only thing it could be that I wouldn't have used it is Equinox. No spell with hand feels bad. No, we can kick the Ice Pillar. We don't need a spell for Lee Sin here. He has a hard time doing much. Where's his hands? Sunburst? Yeah, but we're playing around Sunburst, guys. Is there downsides to taking some of these blocks? I think I just let this through, right? Like, there's no reason I would block any of this unless I'm missing something. You can get gems. Yeah, but gems are worth less than the mentor buff, I think. Like, we just want to open attack, threaten a kick, and buff Zoe to 3 attack. I think always. The damage isn't going to matter here. Gems. Gems do less than the mentor buff here, though. He actually had both avalanches. I mean, okay, we can still, like, try to win off of Lee Sin. Wow, that's so crazy. Like, we can't protect against that. So, I already said, but we were going to challenge the Ice Pillar on the open attack. If you challenge Ice Pillar on open attack with Lee Sin, you don't need to play a spell to give Lee the Dragon Kick. That's kind of nuts, though, man. Like, that's super rough. I can buff Lee to, like, 8 so that we can beat, like, Star Shaping hands, but I'm not sure what else we're good against. If I develop, then we just auto-lose to Sunburst hands, and Sunburst is too likely in comparison. So I have to just triple gem and attack here and hope it's good. Spacey to try to Moonglow. It's tempting, but we literally lose to Sunburst on the spot if we do that. And he's running 3. I think he put in 3. Like, I think I just have to do this. But yeah, not saving Hush earlier was what cost us this game, potentially. Like, if he only has Star Shaping and no Hush or Freeze, then we're good here. But that's pretty much it. He already used 2 freezes and at least 1 Hush. Why not kick Asol? Because the Bastion will mean we don't deal damage. Yeah, he has it. He's just deciding which of his tools he wants to use here. Hush Catalyst. That's pretty funny. So, I mean, we can potentially try to survive for another turn. It's kind of funny. If he open attacks with Asol, he has to be aware that we might have, like, Barrier. If he has the Mind Splitter, then I lose by discarding Equinox here. I guess I have to Sketcher here. This feels really bad. But I mean I'm losing too much health if I don't. I have to do it. Like, I'm literally dead to his open attack if I don't do this. I think we literally just need blockers. So, he doesn't have an open attack anymore, which means I can go for Crescent. Is Moonglow nuts? No, Moonglow doesn't even beat Mind Splitter. We don't even have first action, so Moonglow doesn't beat Sunburst either. Moonglow does nothing here. Guys, the reason we're doing this is we need blockers. I think Crescent might be... No, Charger's a bit better than Crescent. They're very close. But yeah, we should lose here. It's kind of funny. If he didn't have that Catalyst, we might have had the kill. So we need to top deck a spell is the only problem. Lee can't challenge without a spell anymore. We have a lot of spells in our deck. So giving this dog the Sonic Wave actually matters here too. This was also a pretty crazy game. Like, I think I played fine except for literally that one misplay was really bad. So Star Shaping is a good start here. I mean, if he's got like Star Shaping Harsh Winds, that's enough for him to be fine. Catalyst again. He needs, what, a freeze here? This was an insane game. So yeah, that was pretty lucky at the end. Like, we got set into a really good position as soon as he used that Field Rush. We played how we had to. Like, the entire game we did exactly what we needed to do. Like, going for the Zenith on the goat was like a really important call. Like, just going for goats in general. That's how we like put that game into a winnable state. But missing that one Hush opportunity was really bad. And that easily could have cost us the game. Man, if I can come back from this, I can side again. Yeah, I think going back in the Sparklefly here is good. Yeah, I do think Spell Thief might have to do literally nothing in this matchup. Let me change like one or two things. Because Sparklefly is good enough here. We just want like elusive bodies. Bastion's good enough too. Spell Thief I think does literally nothing here. I don't even know what to cut though for this last one. This last cut is difficult. I guess Guiding Touch is okay. We're not really gonna need just like Free Cycle for no reason. Cut Will? No, Will against Mind Splitter is like even better than Equinox. It's probably Guiding Touch, I think. Okay, so we're in game 3 here. This is, again, a really, really difficult matchup. I mean, I can keep, like, the Spacey game plan. Like, Star Chart and Spacey are good here, but it feels really bad. I don't know, mulliganing this spot is actually really, really difficult. Like, I could see some strong arguments to try to like keep Star Chart or Spacey. I can even see a weird argument to keep Deny. I kind of hate that. That last game was a very exception. Like if I'm keeping one at Star Chart over Spacey, I have to draw them later. I have so many. I need to like mulligan really aggressively for like proactive damage things. Like Zoe on turn 1, we didn't have it last game, but this actually is potentially game winning. So how does he deal with Zoe? We actually like this is how this like the only reason last game was so hard was because we didn't have Zoe early. Now we have a real chance. We have a real chance now. Because his deck, I mean, we're going to get 2 draws for free here, basically, no matter what. And if we pre-Zenith, then we're safe against Avalanche too, right? If I pre-Zenith, he can Troll Chant to sometimes stop Zoe from dealing damage, but I've got Pale if that happens. Nothing stops this. It would have to be like this keeps her safe from Avalanche, which is a really big deal. He can like do a 2-card combo to kill her later. So now if he wants to stop a strike, he can like minus attack her. I can Pale to get the strike, which isn't bad. It cycles and it discounts. I could also just like use the star chart here just to make sure I have another one. Instead of like discounting, this doesn't do as much. Okay, touch block. We could have, I guess, gone for a snake here. Has a chance of doing something, but we can't play around the hush block. Like, if he's gonna hush and trade that, then that's okay. All right. It's not great. I guess I could have at least like had a goat side on that attack for the hush block, just because my mana was locked out in that case. Yeah, having a goat side on that attack was better. That was the play, I think. That was the play. That would have made a really big difference, actually. It's like, goats are just how we're doing this. This one less hush for Lee. Yeah, Zoe's kind of always killable by a hush. Like, she did still draw us the card and then force the hush. And, like, that's kind of all we want from her. She's not really leveling up. But sometimes she can just completely win the game on her own. So, I actually don't know if I need Will of Ionia anytime soon. I might actually see an argument to Spacey. It's a little too early for Lee. We're not doing anything there. I don't have a big, like, Spacey discard here. Wolf for Mind Splitter. The thing is, Mind Splitter is not as big of a deal in this kind of game where we have Spacey and Star Chart. So, he's got a big mana point at 8. Again, most of his things are attack punishers, not development punishers. If he plays like something kind of too big for Goat to handle, that could be awkward. But I do want to go a little bit wider here. It's just like if he plays Trundle and then when we Pale, he has an answer. Like Trundle into Troll Chant on this Pale, that's kind of nasty. He passes again. Wow. That's pretty good for us. It's just the hand he wants to like start catalysting here, basically. I mean, this attack is great. I think getting the pressure from Spacey actually feels like it matters. I don't know if I can discard anything yet, though. And I guess he can Avalanche at that point. We just take this attack. Wow. He must have a completely awful hand. I mean, he is running, like, his deck is overly teched against Lee almost. Like, when he has, like, Sunbursts and Mind Splitters and stuff, like, he can't do anything at all there. Probably multiple Trundles. That was a Trundle off the left, I think. So, I mean, I can literally, like, Zenith this Sparklefly again. I just want to spread out my Zeniths, basically, is the most important thing. And just make sure I'm drawing all 3. Like, that feels great. We're just threatening kind of, like, the most possible. So, we don't necessarily have the Bastion. If we get Bastion right, or sorry, if we get Equinox right now for the Sketcher, then I'm very happy playing Lee this turn. That was the 3rd Zenith. Oh, yeah, because we used the one on Zoe. So, we can go ahead and go for that. I'm fine. That Zenith seems weird, but the Lee Zenith doesn't matter in this matchup, guys. I don't know. I feel like the Will has a harder time being useful. Like, Lee here is really, really good. And the Mind Splitter is just, like, too expensive to be a counter. Yeah, I think I really like the Lee here. Like, he doesn't have mana for Sunbeam right now. Yeah, he can take an attack if he wants. I'll just heal that back up. I really don't care to do, like, a weird counterable block. And then if he plays Mind Splitter, then we just have a really good Will of Ionia anyway. Like, it's not doing anything. And then at that point, maybe we can try to search for something with Sketcher. Developing into this is pretty safe. Again, like, the scariest thing he can do is, like, he can use Trundle's spell, second Trundle for Icequake, and I could deny it. If I deny that, I'm actually not that far off from having lethal. If this Lee Sin levels up, and I deny Icequake, that's insane. But I think I'm, like, just 1 or 2 men off of doing that, even if I had Star Chart here. I think I want to play Zoe. I think if he Icequakes and I deny it, then we're good enough anyway. The only problem with Zoe is if he Avalanches. Avalanche is a very efficient answer. I don't think it affects the rest of the board enough, though. So I'm actually kind of fine if that happens. Like, if he uses Avalanche to solo kill Zoe, then I'll just let it through and not care. Switch songs. Alright. Sorry that this song is driving you guys crazy. So he takes just an Ice Pillar. He might want us to play a little bit deeper here. We want this Zoe to strike so that we can draw. Drawing is pretty important here. If we want to like Bastion Pale or Bastion Pale Gem, then we don't have the mana to do anything else right now. Bastion Goat is really not bad. Because then we can also like threaten a Pale on the Trundle. That's really, really not bad. I think pre-gemming does very little here. Because he kind of has to hush the Zoe anyway. But if the Zoe attack gets through, then Star Chart's not doing anything. I do need to challenge with Lee Sin. Yeah, I'll Star Chart first. Yeah, I'll attack that. I don't know if that's correct. I could have like let the goat do a full attack. Like Trundle can still block if he hushes, which he might need to do. I don't think I want to wait to Bastion until he's kind of like running out of his tools. Like I'm fine with like if he's gonna hush to trade Zoe, that's kind of like all I want from that. I actually don't mind like paling the Ice Pillar, honestly. There's a good chance that would just trade for like even if it just trades for like next turn he actually doesn't have Field Rush mana unless he uses Troll Chant here. I'll do this. He's 5. Again, we're close to leveling Lee, but don't quite have it. Lee 1 con. So yeah, if he does try to Field Rush next turn, of course we'll win off the spot with our deny. So there's his Mind Splitter. So, I mean, his Mind Splitter is good for 1 turn, but we've got Will, so it won't be good for the other turn. I'll just Equinox it now, honestly. I actually kind of need, like, a chump blocker, so I think this is kind of the best Sketcher turn. I think that Gem, we just can't really need Gem, actually, at this point in the game. A second Equinox. I already have a Will. It frees up my Will on something else, but I think I just go for Trickster here. We can't possibly need... Will doesn't do anything except for answer another Mind Splitter, whereas Trickster actually matters. Moonglow? It might be better. It's 1 less mana than Trickster. The thing is, like, most of his spells are just stopping, like, increments of damage at a time, right? Like, I can Moonglow on Lee, and it'll eat, like, 1 spell, but Lee's doing, like, the effective same damage as Trickster anyway. Like, Moonglow is a bit better, maybe. I just, like, at the end of the day, we win just by going wider than him, and that's kind of all that matters. And like Trickster does help that. But yeah, Moonglow might, I could see an argument for Moonglow just doing the same thing but better. Sure. So I think with this much damage and this hand, like this hand is really premium for the open attack. Then I probably won't do much, but like these 3 are solid. And I mean Sketcher can just like chump this for free. I guess if I eat this, Sketcher technically can threaten like 1 damage on this open attack. So sometimes that 1 damage actually matters. Yeah, okay, Sketcher's chumping.
You're interesting.
Pale is a good top deck. So, I mean, we can just put Challenger on something. We're letting the goat get through. I guess Zoe is challenging because she's just the lowest damage and we're just going for maximum damage and not the draw. If our Zoe, if we're going an extra turn and he plays Mind Splitter, if Zoe doesn't draw his Equinox, we could actually lose. Man, this is so weird. I think the Zoe doesn't want to challenge because I've got the gem here already. I don't want to pre-pale though, actually. Go challenging? No, Ghost just less damage than the Sparklefly. I would go challenge. Or Ghost just more damage than Sparklefly, sorry. So, I mean, I guess kicking this is a bit better. We just need to threaten lethal with a re-response. I think... I guess I just pre-Bastion Lee. Having 1 more mana would be nice for a Resonating Strike. Yeah, Gem was poorly planned out. Like, the strike is just like 1 more damage compared to Gem. I just didn't count the mana. Bastion go over Lee. It's the same damage, but Lee's kick going off might matter more. Yeah, we lost potentially 1 damage by not having the gem here instead. What does pre-bastion do? It does everything. He's got freezes and hushes. Like, everything he could counter us with is at speed. So we have to pre-bastion. I think we're good. We're not killing him here. He will survive this turn no matter what. And if he stops this Zoe from dealing damage, or if I don't get Equinox from the Zoe, then the Mind Splitter could be enough to win him the game on the spot then. Okay, so there's his 2 freezes. So I can like threaten a little bit of extra damage with resonating, but it doesn't do a ton. Pale allows me to draw earlier. Resonating gives me like more permanent damage. I think the draw off of Pale is unlikely to matter if I use it on like the finishing blow. So I think Paling here is just better actually. I think it has to be. Because there's too much of a chance like I'll want the damage next turn. Pale Lee does the same damage as Goat. Yeah, we just have to Pale Goat or... No, yeah... It's so close between you resonating and Pale. That's so close. Like, Pale is kind of more permanent damage, but if we save Pale for the last attack turn, there's a good chance the card it draws us doesn't do anything on that action step. Zoe also has a good chance of leveling up. He has to go for the other Mind Splitter, and I think just hope that we're out of answers to it at this point. Like, he's just Mind Splittering every turn. One last turn. Yeah, this is one last turn. We were never killing him that turn. The clock was never, ever that turn. That's why we're definitely not dragging with Zoe. And we have to just set up to stay alive an extra turn, which is why kicking Trundle is nice. Like, that's why kicking Trundle is more important than Mind Splitter. Like, there's actually some weird hands that can lethal us here with, like, big Trundle Overwhelm that we can't do anything about. It's almost possible. So he does go for the Mind Splitter. Here, I mean, we have to try for it again. There's really no other play. Even if we don't hit it, we could be alright. So we hit the Equinox like a good player. That one was definitely just kind of lucky. Like, we've hit, what? Have we hit 3 Equinoxes this game? Or just 2? No, 2 Equinoxes and a Will. We hit an Equinox in the other game. So yeah, this one's just kind of rigged. So, I mean, this time we're just pushing for the full lethal. The Bastion is just protecting the highest value again. We can Sonic Wave to threaten a little bit more damage. I think at that point, I mean, if we're maximizing our damage this turn, Zoe is actually leveling up here, so I can just drag it with the Elusive, actually. I guess. Sure, that's fine. Bastion After isn't better. Bastion After Freeze is like sort of cute, but the thing is, like, if he doesn't answer the Bastion, he loses, and the Bastion, like, it's just gonna eat a buff no matter what, right? And like, if the Bastion is just doing +1 on something that's 0, then like, if he makes my entire board 0, then it's kind of too late for Bastion to actually even do much. Gem. So there's a consideration to gem. There's a decent chance that taps us under a relevant mana point though. I could have gemmed the Zoe, but the thing is the Zoe's already leveling. So he needs something very specific here to try to stay alive. Yeah, gemming was a bit better, I think. There's not enough draws off of Pale that punish that. And we're not going to need Deny on this action, of course. He's got probably just one play to make here. Harsh Winds on the Trickster seems kind of weird. I mean, I'm guessing it doesn't matter. So, super close game. I'll talk about that in a second. I need to pee real quick first. But we are advancing in the tournament. We're not eliminated yet. That was a crazy matchup. That was insane.